Hello, hi, and welcome. I don't know why my voice is like this.
Hello, hi, and welcome. Just kept going up.
Everybody wants
Hi, welcome to It's Not That Deep, episode 7 of our vaguely tattoo-related podcast. I
Yes.
am Kirsty Mick, a tattoo artist, and you are...
Who am I this week? I think this week I'm Samuel Wickens. Prim and proper.
Do you want to say your middle names because they're so royal?
Samuel George Ronaldo Wickens.
You sound like from The Princess Diaries. Do you know, oh my god, what is her name? But it's like the most like elongated blah, 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 name ever.
I've never seen it.
Amelia something or other, I don't know. It's very funny. People will get the reference if they watch The Princess Diaries. Anyway, so yes, you are Samuel Wickens.
Samuel George Ronaldo Wickens.
Yes.
Not after the footballer, after a joke gone wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all right. It's lovely.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
I never tell anyone my real name. It's a secret. My name's not actually Mick. Surprise. But someday it'll be Wickens and then no one will ever need to know. Anyway, how are you?
I'm good.
Yeah?
My back it's winces sometimes, but look
Okay.
at me go. Look
You're
at this.
flowing.
I'm like
Ooh.
a wacky inflatable tube man.
You're, I don't know what the word would be. Loose?
I'm loose.
Ooh, loosey-goosey.
This week I am a loosey-goosey, but
Loosey-
physically only.
Yeah.
In the physical sense.
Yes. We're going to do a silly goose. Normally we do a silly goose.
I'm just always a silly goose, really.
Do you think?
Yeah, I would be a silly goose more often than not.
I think I would be more a silly goose than you.
I'm not even gonna.
No comment?
No comment.
Nah,
for
we'll
that.
maybe keep the domestics to a minimum.
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like last week was domestics and health complaints for 50 minutes.
It wasn't even health complaints. I was just saying it how it is, you know.
Yeah, we'll maybe skip through that this time.
Yeah,
You're fine. I'm
yeah.
fine. I'm knackered. I've already had a day tattooing. I say a day. I tattooed for an hour. What?
You're like, we're gonna skip all the health complaints. We're gonna skip all the. I'm so tired. I'm this.
I just, I've put in a hard graft at work.
Oh,
There's no work
lovely.
in me. I can't even pretend.
Okay.
I'm just tired. Anyway, what episode 7? What is our sponsor?
Oh, I think our sponsor this week is gonna have to be you getting flamed by the entire Buffy fandom, which was a love and a hate thing for me. I a lot of things they brought up, honestly, I was like, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. We have to
I
give context though, because what if people don't know what we're talking
okay.
about?
So basically, last week.
No, it
you-
wasn't last week. It was 2 weeks ago. Episode 4 or 5.
Yes,
Can't
it was 2 weeks
Okay.
ago. You had said that you wanted to get a spike tattoo, and I was like, you can't get a spike tattoo because you haven't seen it. And
Yeah,
then
It's very funny. A good point.
it was a clip, and it went a bit viral on TikTok, and the
Mhm.
Buffy fandom
Fandom.
that are extremely passionate.
As
Do you
as
know-
they should be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do you know, I am a huge Buffy fan. I
Mm-hmm.
obviously these people took it to the next level. They know episodes and stuff,
Yeah. There's always going to
am-
be that group that are
Yeah.
really passionate.
and
Yeah.
they brought up a few reasons why you shouldn't get a spike tattoo due to I don't think we should really get into it. I
No,
don't-
there's just a controversial episode that I hadn't seen, obviously, because like I said, I got to a point that I wanted to get to and then I didn't watch any further. And then everybody started telling me about this very specific episode that is quite, it's not controversial, but it's a talking point, definitely. And people were not happy with this and that I wanted a spike tattoo. And they had their opinions on that, really.
Yeah.
Basically,
And
for me not to do it.
yes, and I think it is good that people, even fans of a TV show, can be like, I think people were very passionate, 100% do what you want to do, but it kind of is good that they brought it up
Mm-hmm.
because you would rather it be brought up before getting a tattoo than after getting
Oh,
a
definitely.
tattoo.
I'm actually really glad because imagine if I did get the tattoo and then I knew all about this and then I had to do all of the like research and like after the fact.
Yeah.
And that I think would have given me a lot more anxiety. I actually, again, this might be a bit controversial. I actually don't know if I still want this spike tattoo or not, but it hasn't completely put me off just because one, I still haven't seen it all. I didn't, spend the last 2 weeks watching the rest of Buffy.
Yeah.
Sadly, I will before I get any tattoo. I will make sure I've done all my research.
Okay.
But it seemed like even the Buffy fandom weren't sure on whether
it was divided.
Yeah, it was very divided. Although, can I read like one or two of the comments from it that don't reference like what it
Again,
said?
we're not kind of flaming the Buffy fandom, because I think that
they were very good.
people are going to be passionate about stuff, and I think it was good that it was brought up. Obviously, there was loads of different kind of opinions from fans of the show.
Yeah.
And there was a good few comments that were funny and lighthearted.
That's
and
what I was
a few
going to
were
read
a bit
out.
more serious, but
I like this one. Far be it for me to side with a man, but girl, you need to listen to him.
I loved that one, honestly.
That was
I
your
was like,
favorite?
yes, because I was like, this person never agrees with men, but in this case, I am so right that they're agreeing with me. I was like, do you know what? It makes you feel good. It makes you feel like you've really hit the nail on the head when you get a comment like that.
Yeah. I mean, other people were just very kind of light as someone with a Game of Thrones tattoo finished the show before making commitments. Buffy never loved Spike. Bro, Spike and Buffy is such a basic ship. Now, Spike and Angel is where the true ship is at.
I saw that. I thought that was great.
Yeah, that was very funny.
Because it got quite heavy. So whenever we saw them comments, it was like, it's nice seeing a bit of lightness in it.
Yeah.
Because it did get quite heavy.
It did, yeah. There was definitely debates in there. There's quite a few comments where people were going back and forth.
Yeah, and people online, they are going to be passionate about things. It's good to see passion.
It is, yeah. And do you know what I really liked? That I realised that they call the Buffy and Spike partnership Spuffy.
Yes.
And that's adorable.
Spuffy.
So, I don't know. Right now, I'm not getting any portrait tattoos because of this controversy. I will do controversy. Can't speak. I will do my research before I get any more portrait tattoos. But it does bring me onto the topic that I guess can be in our little deep dive segment that you did a lovely little animation for last week. I think it's not that deep dive. But instead of doing stories and Reddit stories or whatever, we'll maybe just discuss something.
Okay.
Such as,
I like discussing things.
Yeah, it's kind of what we do a lot of.
Yeah.
Discuss portrait tattoos and the do's and don'ts and the controversy or whatever can surround them, because I have some portrait tattoos that I don't think are problematic at all. But there's other people that might have their own portraits that they got a long time ago, and maybe the person they got a portrait of has maybe they're, I don't know what you would say, but maybe they're not as positive anymore. Do you know what I mean? You don't have any portraits, do you? Like no faces of anybody?
No, none.
No, except for that one.
None. That makes it sound like I've got a really bad one. I don't.
Imagine.
I've got like cartoons, like cartoon illustrative faces, but they're not of like a person, if you know what I mean. They're just a cartoon.
Can I out you?
What?
Sam has Spike tattooed on him.
I do not have.
He does. And I forgot about it in the episode, and I forgot about it until very recently, that he does have a Spike tattoo. Kind of.
Okay. Let this
Defend yourself, sir.
I'm going to have to, because, look, if anyone, and if this gets clipped, this is staying in. Anyone from the Buffy fandom, I was as shocked as you were reading the comments. I have watched Buffy a good few times. And I think I was just along on the train ride watching the show. Never really kind of watched, I never looked into the depth of things. I just kind of watched the show.
It's a vampire show.
I do not have a portrait of Spike.
No, you don't.
I have
overdramatic.
It's a little cartoon with vampire teeth.
Can you see it? Oh, probably not.
You probably can't.
Well,
I've got a little cartoon with vampire teeth that was a generic, maybe Spike related
but it's
thing.
from the TV show.
It is from
in the TV show, so it's not so bad.
Yes. But so I'm a prime person that is like, I would, if it was a Spike portrait, after reading all those comments, pardon me, firstly, I would say that the majority of people they would just be like, that's a person. They might not know who it is.
No, it's a very specific reference.
How would I feel if I found out all this stuff?
You having a wee time? Do you want to do a big cough?
It's my trachea again.
From last
Apologise.
week. Oh, dear.
Apologies. But again, something about that. When I spoke to a friend about the whole thing on TikTok, blah blah blah, he thought that people were talking about the actor.
Yes. What was the actor's name?
James Marsters.
Yes.
I think it's James Marsters. Yes.
Oh, he's lovely.
So he thought that it was about the actor. So he couldn't find anything, and it wasn't. It is about the fictional character Spike in the fictional show of Buffy, set in the fictional town of Sunnydale.
Yes.
Fictional.
And so fictional is also the topic within portrait tattoos.
Yes.
Like between real people, fictional people, portraits, what is okay and what isn't okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's you know, I think that there's so many nuances. You know, do you like how they look, or is that all that the reason is? If you were getting a portrait of someone, you're just like, I just love how they look as a person or their style. And you're like, I don't care about them as a person or their personality or character.
See, I don't think it can be that. I think for me, as someone who has portrait tattoos, it's what that person represents, which is why I got them tattooed on me. So I have a Kurt Cobain tattoo and an Eddie Vedder tattoo. Both
you love.
I love them, and I love their music, their art. One is dead, one is alive, so that, you know, is also a topic of, should you really be getting people who are still alive tattooed, because is that weird? Or look at how many people, like famous people, celebrities who died, and then a lot of controversy came out about them. We'll not name specifics because we'll not get cancelled.
Yeah.
But is that okay? Like, should you be getting... And then you see people who, like a celebrity that dies and people immediately go get their portrait tattooed. I am fully thinking that we're going to see about 1,000 David Attenborough tattoos when the man himself does pass, because he's
And I don't think
99.
there'll be any controversy because...
No, because he's
well,
lovely.
I really hope not.
Yeah, that would be so
but
sad.
again, if you got a tattoo of a celebrity, controversy comes out after their death, or you know, after you got the tattoo, you weren't aware. I understand that there's a responsibility of you to make sure that you're getting a tattoo and you know what it means, etc. But it doesn't mean that you are all knowing.
No, I don't know every single thing about the people I have tattooed on me.
And also the kind of responsibility you hold. It's what you wouldn't want is either get it covered up or lasered, or you support that. Again, there could be people that aren't in a position financially to get it covered up or get laser.
Exactly.
But they were in a position to get the tattoo. Again, nuances, things change. And it would be horrible if you had a tattoo like that and you were like, oh no.
I don't know what I would do.
Because yours is a big portrait as well.
Yeah, so I feel like Kurt Cobain's fine. You know, he's been dead for a very long time. He was a very troubled soul and probably did do things that weren't great, but in the grand scheme of what people get cancelled for, he seems pretty safe. And he's also a very pretty man, and he's on my leg. Eddie Vedder is still alive, but I would be so upset if there was anything that ever came out about Eddie Vedder, but I just can't imagine it because he's been around for such a long time. And I don't know what I would do. Honestly, I don't know what I would do if something came out and I had to do something with the tattoo, but hopefully I just never have to think about that. But there definitely is people who have controversial tattoos of people. I've seen a lot of people get serial killer tattoos.
Yeah.
What is your opinion on that? Real or fictional, those are two different topics.
Well, I'll stick with real.
Okay, real people. So you're like Ted Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer, like they have their faces on them. Honestly,
my take is that it kind of takes away the severity of them, because I just think that it's like it becomes that they're just a tattoo, and it does kind of take, or even if you saw it and you're like, I don't agree with it, but it looks nice.
Like it's really well executed. Yeah.
But I do think that it takes away the severity of these like serial killers. I don't know why. Like, again, whenever I say I don't know, it is genuinely me saying I couldn't see why someone would want to get a tattoo of a serial killer. Sorry, not by one.
No, don't do that.
Imagine that.
Oh my God.
Don't do it.
Is that worse?
And then they're just like, I'm only putting on the stencil.
Oh dear.
But no, I don't know why.
Uh-huh.
Somebody may have not a reason, but they may have some kind of a thing why they got it, and I could be like, but
Yeah.
my personal take
Yeah.
is that it does take away the severity of them
100%,
as
yeah.
a serial killer.
Yeah.
Fake ones,
Yeah,
I don't-
fictional. I can't even think of like a fictional. Oh,
Jason, Freddy Krueger.
yes. Or even American Psycho. There's that as a tattoo a lot. What's his name in American Psycho? Oh, what is his name? We were just watching that the other day. Bateman?
Oh, Patrick Bateman. I was
That's it.
thinking American Horror Story, and I was like, there are so many characters.
No, Bateman.
Okay, fictional, my take would kind of be it falls more into pop culture. It's an
Mhm.
understanding that it is fake, it's fictional, it's movie world.
Yeah. It's also more what it represents. Obviously, American Psycho is like one of those like cult favorites because it represents so many different things within our society. So is that what they're
yeah,
we're getting,
it's-
that whole like Sigma male thing as well?
that would be falling into like real life things.
Yeah.
But I'm more talking about people do enjoy movies
Yeah.
and then full stop. It's not that they enjoy anything that the movie kind of dictates in
Yeah.
real life. They just enjoy the pop culture of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if somebody would get a Twilight tattoo,
Yes.
they're like, I like the movie. I don't generally have like this fascination about vampires and think
Yeah.
that, you know, it's just the movie.
Yeah, that would be very me. If I was to get a portrait, as I want many portraits, but I would definitely get a Twilight portrait.
Yeah, but
Do I
again,
want Robert Pattinson on me? Probably not.
somebody could get upset about it because they may
Vampires kill
think
people.
they may think that you're
Yeah.
like celebrating that in a way.
Yeah.
But I think with fictional things, I would be a bit more relaxed because I would be like, okay, it could be pop culture.
Mm-hmm.
They could have just enjoyed the movie, and
Mhm.
sometimes it's that there's no depth to it.
Yeah.
It is not that deep.
Exactly.
Pardon the pun.
And I know we're meant to be all silly goose, and this is a little bit of a
It is
less
quite
silly
deep.
goose.
I love being a silly
I
goose.
know. But end of long story short, don't get real people like
Well,
serial killers tattooed on you. And
Each to their own.
I'm gonna put a hard, as my opinion as a
Yeah.
tattooist, and I don't mind. I don't know why I would get backlash, but if I do, I'm used to it now after this spike
Yeah.
thing. No,
Yeah, I would
Do not
say
do it.
it wouldn't be the best thing, but
no, it's a
I'm
terrible
also
idea.
not going to be someone that tells somebody else what they can and can't do to their body.
I would not tattoo it, and that's where
Yeah.
I'm gonna come from.
Well, no, that's a great
I would
position
not.
to have.
I don't do portrait tattoos, but I would not do it
Yeah.
at all, and that's my stance on it. What's really fun, and what I've done in the past, not anything to do with real people, but fictional people, like from movies and stuff. You take like the characteristics of that person, and you put them on like a generic face. Let me explain.
No, I'm following.
So I've done it before. Obviously, I've not seen The Crow, the movie.
Yeah.
Okay. I've done it where it was a female generic illustrative face,
Yeah.
but I did lots of characteristics from the character in The Crow. What is his name?
Eric Draven or the
Yes.
actor?
The
character?
The character.
Eric
yes.
Draven.
So the girl had the hair, do you know, that like kind of wet looking, kind of straggly
Awesome.
hair. Yeah, sorry.
That's awesome looking.
There
hair.
was the leather jacket that he wears,
Mhm.
and there was obviously the makeup, but it wasn't on that. It wasn't of the character. It was something different.
It was taking the things from the
Yeah,
movie
the little like bits.
and creating
Yeah.
something new with it, which is really nice. And
I
that
think it's-
tattoo was beautiful.
Thank you very much. That I think is a good way of maybe giving a nod to something. I've done it before with, like you said, like Jason and stuff, done a girl
Yeah.
version of Jason. And I think that's a nice way to like show your fandom for something, but not
Well,
exactly
it is.
that.
It's that pop culture. You're taking
Yeah.
that pop culture, like using the Crow, the
Mhm.
pop culture, and that taking aside anyone that may say, you know, you should have had Eric Draven just as a memorial because he passed away shooting the film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, but you're taking these things from it: the makeup, the hair,
Mhm.
you know, the leather duster,
Mhm.
the guitar, the crow, actual physical
Yeah. There was
crow, and
Yeah.
you're building this thing.
Yeah,
I think there
yeah.
is something special in that.
Yeah, I think it was a good way to do it, in my humble opinion, and I like doing that. But in terms of like portraits, I haven't done any other like I'm not a portrait artist, so I haven't done very
Yeah.
many portrait tattoos. Is there any that you would get? Is there anybody real
No.
or fake that you would get?
No, just me personally, I would feel weird
Really?
having a face on me. I don't know. It
Uh-huh.
would creep me out a little. I would be like, I have a human face,
Yeah.
or even an animal face. I don't know.
Really?
Mostly a human. I would be weird about having a human face.
Some people do think that like it's weird to have another face
Yeah,
on you.
I just,
I get.
yeah, I just personally not my cup of tea.
I remember, and I felt so embarrassed by this, but it was so long ago when I was getting my portrait on my arm. You can't really see it in that, but it's of Minami Frost, who is a very kind of well-known tattoo YouTuber, but she was lots of other things kind of back whenever I first started getting into tattooing. She was the only person I'd ever really seen that was heavily tattooed. So I very much idolized her when I was younger. And so when I was getting tattooed by Reese, who is her husband, who's done my hand, and he's done that one for me, I said, like, I want like it was kind of like an ice princess kind of vibe. And I was like, you can use Monami's face if you want to, if you like doing that. And he was like, yeah, 100%. So when I was getting it tattooed, this was the first time I was getting tattooed by him. So I was very nervous.
Yeah.
I was a bit of a fangirl. I was young. And she came in. I shit myself because I was like, oh God, this is really awkward actually.
Yeah, you've never met her before?
Nope, this is the first
And
time.
you're getting
I've-
her face tattooed on you.
That's really weird. And I immediately was like, oh, this is great.
What you honestly should have done in that. So if you're getting tattooed and you
Yeah.
saw her coming in, you should have went, you look exactly like, who's that? And just played it off.
Imagine. I think obviously her husband had told her that he was doing a tattoo of her face today, and so
Yeah.
she was so lovely, and she came in and said hi, and I got a photo with her and everything, and that was all very nice. I felt like a bit of a super fan, but grand. She didn't really mention it, but then someone else was getting tattooed by someone else in the room, and he was like, "Oh, what are you getting?" And I held out my arm, and he was like, "Manami," but he used Manami's actual name because he was friends with
Yeah.
everyone in the studio. I can't remember the exact name he used, but he was like, "Oh, such and such," and I was like, "Yeah," and he's like, "It's a bit weird,"
Because that would have been his friend, and it's just like
Yeah.
a stranger has got his friend's face tattooed on them.
and that made me feel really like just
But
embarrassed.
it is a beautiful tattoo.
It is lovely. I don't regret it. I think it's really nice. I think it's beautiful, and I have ink on me. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was quite funny, but there's definitely people that I would have got tattooed when I was younger that I'm very glad I didn't. That was not one of them. I'm very glad I got that tattooed. My grunge tattoos I'm very happy about, but there might have been people that I got when I was younger. Not even that much younger. I think a couple of years ago I was really into Grimes, and I really wanted a Grimes
Well,
portrait.
sometimes
And
it's not
she's so
even.
strange.
Sometimes it's not even portraits. It's just
Yeah.
there's tattoos. I think everyone that I don't even think everyone that has it. Everyone has wanted a tattoo when they're younger, and they're like, that would be so cool. And for some reason, you don't get it. And then a few years pass by, and you go, I am so happy.
Yeah.
Like, do you have any? Whenever I say typical, but just a tattoo, not like a big portrait, but just a tattoo that you were like, that would be so cool. I would look so much cooler if I had that. And then you realize a few years later, I'm glad I didn't get that.
For on me personally,
Yeah.
or what I've seen other people
no,
get?
on you.
On me? Oh, I don't know, because I think I'm the type of person that would be like, I want this tattoo, and then I got it. So there's not really very many where I'm like, oh,
You don't have any like cringy
I probably do.
tattoos.
I probably do. I've just got so many at this point that
But there's none, like the one I wanted
Okay.
was, and it was due to skateboarding games and stuff. It was the red and black like stars.
Oh, like a nautical star?
I think so. It's like half of the spike is
Yes.
red, half is black,
Yeah.
and they're on either side of your chest.
See, I think that has a meaning as well.
I couldn't tell you. I just saw it in like skateboarding games and stuff,
Yeah.
and I always wanted that. And then I never did. And then I'm like, I'm so glad I didn't get that because I'm obviously not a skateboarder. I would have looked at it. People would be like, you a skateboarder? I'd be like, no.
That's definitely not the worst one, though. I think that's kind of normal. I definitely know that whenever I was like young, maybe like 14, 15. So I just kind of, decided I wanted to be a tattooist and was thinking, oh, I want all of these different things. I remember I really wanted music notes on my hip.
Yeah.
And that was definitely probably in at the time. I'm very glad I didn't do that. And I remember distinctly going into the first tattoo studio that I ever worked in when I was 16. I remember going in and showing them this photo. And there's this very infamous photo of everyone was looking at this kind of thing back whenever that was. It was a full rib piece of like all these like swirls and filigree kind of thing with these roses just randomly put around it. And it was very black and very dark. And I really wanted this. And I know if I had this now, I would hate it because it was so like of the time.
Yeah, it was like
not
not a niche. What would you call it? Like a
It's
trend. It
yeah.
was a trend.
And trends, I think the trends are like quickening up now. Like the pace we go through them is wild. I have all of them, I think, at this point. I'm
You're not
lucky.
tribal.
I don't have tribal and I don't have dolphins. And
Was
I feel
dolphins a trend?
yeah, like before I was even getting tattooed.
I remember when dolphins were a trend outside of tattoos. Like, remember dolphins everywhere?
What was the thing with dolphins? And
Don't know,
they're
but it
weird.
was a good time.
No.
Everything just seemed so happy.
Dolphins are not a good thing
A
to
dolphin
get tattooed.
like snow globe.
Yeah.
How does that make sense?
Or you would have like a dolphin themed bedroom.
Well, I didn't.
No, you didn't. And I
had
didn't.
an army themed bedroom.
Oh, I have a groovy chick bedroom.
Yeah.
We were different.
You have a groovy chick tattoo?
No, I'm very glad I don't. But I have seen one and I actually loved it. It was really cool.
Do you reckon I could get a bit of camo tattooed on me? Would that look cool?
No, that would not look cool.
No.
But you could put it in something. Do you know,
A
like
circle?
a circle?
Just a circle of camo?
You
Camouflage?
could, yeah, if you contain the camo in something, then it'll be fine. Put camo on a can. Stunning.
Camo can?
Camo can.
Camo can.
Put camo on a chameleon.
Camo chameleon? Please tell me,
What?
do you know the name of that song? See, if you say camo chameleon, I'm walking.
Is it not chameleon?
It's Karma Chameleon.
Karma chameleon?
I don't even know if that's actually the title of
Is
the
it
track.
karma? Like
Karma. Like good karma, bad karma.
chameleon?
Karma chameleon,
What does
yeah.
that song mean? I did not think we'd be talking about Boy George today. Boy George.
But judge.
Boy George. I can't speak.
So I'll get a can of camo.
That sounds lovely. But you wouldn't get a portrait tattoo.
Can camo do the can. But I wouldn't get a portrait, no.
No.
I see people that have portraits, I'm like, wow, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I just never, again, that's what I think is cool about tattoos.
Yeah.
Do you know, I've seen people and they've got full bodysuits of Oriental.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Japanese.
I would never get it.
Mm-hmm.
I would never get like Japanese Oriental style tattoos.
We really say Oriental.
Is that not?
It's okay.
I don't.
I'm not sure. I've seen
Is
in...
it Jap? I didn't want to say Japanese in case it was Chinese.
No, it's Japanese.
Is it Japanese?
Yeah.
I'm thinking of like the swirls, the waves and stuff.
Don't worry,
Yes.
you're fine. Whenever you do like a convention, sometimes the category will be called Oriental, so it's okay.
I didn't.
No one's
mean
gonna
any-
cancel you.
Yeah,
Don't
I didn't
worry.
mean anything. I was.
This
playing,
week,
I was,
Sam's getting
I was
cancelled.
paying a compliment.
I
to it.
love Japanese tattoos.
Yeah,
I
but I
think
would
they're
never get
stunning.
one. That's what I'm saying. I
No.
appreciate them. I think they're beautiful, but I would never get one. They're just not my vibe for
And
what
that's
I
fine.
do.
That is absolutely fine. I think us talking about all the portrait tattoos can segue into our mention of the week, our artist mention.
Okay.
I'll do my tip after, just because
Yeah.
this makes more sense.
Yeah.
Our artist shout out, that's what it's called, of the week, is going to be Kerry O'Sullivan, who I once again
Ooh.
work with. It
Yes.
feels like I'm just going through all the girls I work with, and I probably will because they're all incredibly talented. But right now we're going through Kerry, who does black and grey realism, and she does the most incredible portraits. And I think I couldn't recommend anybody else for portrait tattoos because she's just so incredible.
Mhm.
She's very talented. Her or Tommy Gunn did my portrait tattoos as well. Those are your two kind of big hitters in Belfast. But Kerry is amazing. So good.
Yeah.
Very good. That's my artist shout out.
Well, I think that's lovely.
No, thank you very much.
Again, I don't.
You don't have much to say on this bit.
Yeah, I don't mean to be like I've got nothing nice to say about that tat.
She's lovely.
I am a noob.
Yes.
I'm a tattoo noob. I just have them.
Mm-hmm.
I know how they feel and stuff. beyond that,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a noob.
Yeah,
And I'm okay being a noob. I don't need to know about it all.
that's all right. You're just here to
So, but
observe.
I think it is lovely
Mhm.
that Kerry is the tattoo shout out of the week.
And she's very nice.
And what's the tattoo tip of the week?
I feel like it should be something to do with the portraits and stuff. So I'm thinking it's either going to be what I said about not using the exact person, you know, putting the elements of their character or whatever on a more generic, I don't know what you would call it.
Yeah, it's like
Face.
creating a character with
Create
the elements.
your own character. Yeah, kind of like that. I did like a Twilight one as well. So it wasn't Bella, but it was all the characters or the characteristics of Bella.
Yes.
That would be a good way if you want to get a portrait without getting the actual person. Or my other tip would definitely be to just do your research and make sure that you stand by what that person represents.
Yes, and if you're okay with it, you're okay with it.
Yeah.
Do you know there are people in the TikTok that they were
Mhm.
just like, it's a fictional show, he is a demon.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And they would be fine with it.
Yeah.
Other people would be glad that they were made aware of it.
Mhm.
But yeah, a bit of due diligence and research. You touched
Yeah.
base, I don't know what episode, it could have been actually before we were even doing the episode we were
Mhm.
talking about, when you were doing a bit of an interview and they gave you
Oh,
a
the
bunch of
ethics.
they gave you a bunch of logos and
Mhm.
symbols, and they were like, what's that? And there was things that you didn't know, and there were hate symbols.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So a bit of research
Yeah.
can save.
I would definitely know if anyone asked me for a specific tattoo and I didn't really know if it was a symbol or something and I didn't know what it meant, I would stick that straight into ChatGPT. Be like, what is this? Please tell me. So I know whether I can kind of stand by it or not. I don't want to tattoo something that I don't agree with.
Yeah.
But if that person, or not that person, but if a person wants something that's a bit controversial, it's up to them as well. Like
I
I've
think
done
it's
like a
as long
Kanye
as it-
West tattoo, but not of his face.
I think it's
So I'm like,
also as long as it doesn't go against your moral beliefs.
Yeah.
As in what you deem, not that anyone is judge, jury, and executioner, but as in the sense of somebody could be getting a tattoo and you're like, oh, I probably wouldn't get it, but you don't think it's morally bad.
Yeah, I'm not going to do like a Nazi tattoo on someone.
Yeah, but if somebody's getting a tattoo of like a double cheeseburger and you're like, it's a bit stupid, you might regret it, but hey, I'm not going to tell you not. I'm not going to say no, I'm not doing it.
Who am I to tell you what to get and not get?
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever you want. And then maybe eventually I'll get a really weird tattoo and I'll be able to tell the story of weird tattoos, like a double cheeseburger.
I would, no.
No.
I was going to say I would love a tattoo. I would just honestly just love a double cheeseburger.
You'd like a triple cheeseburger.
I would love a triple cheeseburger.
Well, will we finish up with your little recommendation? Sam's recommendation of anything since last week.
What could I recommend? I've been using the new software. Is that a recommendation?
I'm going to veto it because no
Okay.
one will know what the heck you're talking about.
Okay.
It's so specific that
I'm a
I
bit
don't
of a
really
nerd,
know.
if you didn't know.
You are, in a nice
Um,
way.
And I've went through powdered peanut butter. That's my recommendation. I apologize if there's anyone with a peanut or a nut allergy. You're missing out, but I
Mhm.
understand that you can't really. But get powdered peanut butter. Add it to your yogurt. I don't know what else you could add it to. A bit of milk in your cereal, your smoothies, whatever it is.
Do we have this in the house? I
Yeah,
had no idea we had this in the
powdered
house.
peanut butter. Get on it. It's unbelievable.
There
I
you go.
love it.
We're going to
It
get
adds this
cancelled again.
It adds this earthy kind of flavour to anything, especially yogurt. I don't like the tang of yogurt all that much. Powdered peanut butter takes it right out, but you're left with the cream.
Oh.
No tang, all cream. Powdered peanut butter.
That's your
Get yours
endorsement.
today.
Perfect. Happy with all that?
Yes, and this episode is obviously shorter because you would like it to be shorter. So
Yeah, I
that's
just
why.
think that 50 minutes is a bit long. This is already over half an hour, so I feel like we'll leave it
difficult
there.
to condense good conversation,
We do just talk a lot.
but that's what a podcast is.
Kind of. Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Podcast is literally talking.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we've been educational.
Yeah, I
Somewhat.
think this was a bit more of a deeper,
A
not
deeper
deep,
dive.
but a deeper episode of it's not that deep.
That
But,
is true, actually.
but it's not that deep anyway. We're
It's all
we're
good.
talking into microphones. We're talking into a bit of metal that's vibrating and sending audio signals and stuff. It's really not that deep.
No, it's really not. But what
No.
is deep is my...
The Buffy fandom.
Oh, yeah. Well, that is true. That is
Buffy
true.
fandom's deep.
Yeah, they're really pissed off. But I'll finish the show and then I'll call myself a Buffy fan.
Yes,
I've
do
learned
that.
my lesson.
Do that.
Will we go?
Of course.
Follow us on all the necessary things: the Instagram, the Spotify, the YouTube,
The TikTok.
The TikTok. I
'Cause
just
it-
forget about the
Because
TikTok.
it's mad.
Go and look at that post that was about the Buffy thing, and you'll see all the comments. It was wild. Sorry.
But it was
again.
also educational.
I was educated, and I love being educated. I love
Yes.
being schooled, challenged, educated, all the things.
Yeah.
Will we go? Because I really need to pee.
What a lovely thing to say.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
See you later. Oh wait, we forgot to do that. It's not that deep. And remember, it's not that
See,
deep.
this is what happens whenever you cut the time off.
Sorry. It's not that deep. Unless.
It's not that deep unless you almost get a tattoo of a fictional character that there's a lot of backstory to. And if you had watched the show, as I had said multiple times, you would have understood it. SammySpeaksSense.co.uk.
Perfect.
But other than that, it's not that deep, no.
No. Until next time.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Everybody.